I wanted to provide an instructional video over this week's assignment. There's a lot of written directions here, and I know that can be kind of overwhelming, so I was going to walk you through kind of what the expectation is. So in one of the videos in this module, I go over the national statistics to give you an idea about how do you interpret data. I always like to start with data. I think data is an important thing to really look at. It gives you some perspective about what your population looks like. So we'll start here. One of the things you're going to do is you're going to go to the TEA website, and they have an abundance of information on their website. And so I took you directly to where you need to be because the TEA navigation is complicated. So these are the things that you're going to look at. Okay, so you're going to look at the race, ethnic distribution, economically disadvantaged, and these other things inside of this document. So I asked you to take a critical look. And so what does that mean? Well, what I'm looking for are patterns. So patterns are things that you see, kind of repetitively, and then trends are patterns that you see over time. So you're noticing that it's the same kind of trend or the same kind of pattern between 2010 and 2020. So also look at what types of schools do you think had the biggest population? What region had the highest number of students? Look at program-specific information. Like, did you notice that special education had some unique population or economically disadvantaged? So you're looking for things that kind of stand out, all right? And in order to do the assignment, you're making some assumptions about how some of these pieces fit together, okay? So this gives you some ideas about that. Now you're going to start the brainstorming to put together a fictitious student in a region based off the numbers that you found. So let's say you were going to use specifically the Dallas-Fort Worth region, or let's narrow down even more. Let's look at the Dallas region. What are some of those common things that you're finding? Are you seeing that the majority of the kids are in special ed? Are you seeing the majority of the kids are bilingual ESL? So where are you seeing the highest populations? Are they primarily male, female? What's the primary race? And so you're looking at a specific region and you're finding where those trends or those patterns are, or those highest number of things, to try to put together a fictitious student. So it gives us some idea about, if you walk into a class of 20, what's maybe the majority of what you might see in some of these areas. And so you're going to use that information to put together a narrative of a fictitious student. And I gave you a paragraph of my dissertation where I had to kind of describe the people that I ended up interviewing. Okay, so you're going to put together a description of that student, but you have to justify why you put those characteristics together. So for example, you might say, well, I made the student a male and I made this person in special education because the special education numbers were higher for males than females. And I also noticed that, if they live in this kind of area, then they're more likely to be in these types of programs. So make sure you actually use data to support what kind of student you put together. And then lastly, I asked you in that part one to look at some of these things, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. So, but the only ones you're going to answer are 1, 5, 6, and 7. Again, make sure you're giving me some detail, not just, I noticed the trend of students in 9th grade. Well, give me some information about specifically what you saw. Okay, so please don't make these just kind of 1-word or 2-word answers, but give me some detail in that. I give you some just general information down here about the assignment. I don't have an example for you because it kind of depends, again, on which region you look at. Most students end up doing it on the same region. It's the region that has the highest number of students, and so you would find similar patterns, or you should find similar patterns. So I don't have a sample to show you. In other assignments moving forward, I do typically have samples for you. But if you have questions, let me know.